Welcome back to our channel. Think your old pennies are worthless? Think again. These 1974, 1985, 2001, and 2015 1-cent coins might be hiding rare mint errors, collector demand, and surprising value. Don't skip your change. Your penny could be a hidden gem. In 1974, the United States was a nation in flux. The Watergate scandal loomed large. Inflation tightened its grip on the economy, and public trust in institutions teetered on the edge. It was a year of reckoning, where change wasn't just in politics or culture. It was felt in the very currency people carried in their pockets. In the middle of this turbulent backdrop, the U.S. Mint found itself facing a challenge that would lead to one of the most fascinating numismatic chapters in American history. That year, a simple 1-cent penny, often dismissed as the least valuable denomination, became the centerpiece of a quiet but revolutionary experiment. An experiment that would, by accident and design, produce a rare handful of coins now worth tens of thousands of dollars. At a glance, the 1974 U.S. 1-cent penny appears identical to the billions of others struck across decades. On its obverse, Abraham Lincoln's enduring profile faces right, the design that Victor David Brenner crafted to honor the centennial of Lincoln's birth in 1909. The inscriptions "In God We Trust" sit above his head, "Liberty" on the left, and the date, 1974, neatly on the right. Flip the coin over, and you'll find the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Introduced in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The building's columns and details are intricately rendered, and if you look closely, you'll spot the tiny seated figure of Lincoln inside. All of it framed by the bold inscriptions "United States of America, E Pluribus Unum," and 1 cent. It all looks ordinary until you dig beneath the surface. What made the 1974 penny extraordinary was a problem facing the U.S. Mint at the time: the rising cost of copper. Pennies, up until 1982, were composed primarily of 95% copper and 5% zinc. But by the early 1970s, the price of copper had climbed so high that the metal value of the penny itself was approaching, and in some cases exceeding, its face value. For a coin that was already struggling to remain relevant, this posed a significant challenge. To find a solution, the Mint began testing alternative materials. And in 1974, they struck a series of experimental 1-cent coins in aluminum. Roughly 1.5 million of these aluminum cents were produced by the Philadelphia Mint. They were lighter than the standard penny, had a distinct silvery sheen, and weighed just under a gram, almost a third of the weight of the traditional copper cent. These test coins were never intended for circulation. They were to be distributed to members of Congress and government officials for evaluation. However, the proposal to switch to aluminum was met with resistance from multiple fronts. Pediatricians worried that aluminum pennies might not show up on X-rays if swallowed by children. Vending machine companies warned that their machines would require costly modifications. And soon, the Mint reversed course and halted the aluminum cent project altogether. Most of the aluminum test coins were recalled and destroyed. But not all of them. A small number were never returned. Some ended up in private hands, either lost, forgotten, or held quietly for years. And while the aluminum cents made headlines for their experimental nature, another quieter error emerged around the same time. Some 1974 pennies were accidentally struck on bronze planchets instead of the standard copper-zinc alloy. Others found themselves imprinted on foreign coin blanks or with double dies and striking errors. These rare errors, overlooked in the chaos of the aluminum controversy, slowly emerged as hidden treasures. The mystery surrounding these error coins only grew over the decades. In one case, a man who had once worked at the Mint claimed to have a 1974 aluminum cent that was gifted to him by a colleague. After legal battles and attempts by the government to reclaim it, the coin was eventually withdrawn from public view. Other collectors reported finding 1974 pennies that felt heavier or looked darker than expected, only to discover that they were struck on leftover bronze blanks or featured minting flaws that made them exceptional. What makes these coins so valuable isn't just their rarity. It's the layered history behind each one. They represent a moment when the Mint was testing the limits of material, policy, and public acceptance. a moment when economics intersected with innovation, and small mistakes led to big stories. And for collectors, the 1974 error pennies symbolize the perfect storm of rarity, mystery, and legacy. Collectors seeking these rare variations often begin by checking weight. A typical 1974 penny should weigh 3.11 grams if struck on a bronze planchet, or slightly less if it's copper-plated zinc, which was still being tested in some facilities. Any significant deviation in weight is a red flag, or rather, a golden one. Some collectors have found pennies weighing closer to 2.5 grams, indicating a possible aluminum or foreign planchet strike. Others have discovered visual errors like doubling on the lettering or Lincoln's features, or off-center strikes that reveal the blank space where design should be. These small deviations turn a common coin into a potential treasure. Authentication is critical. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC meticulously examine suspected error coins. They analyze metal content, inspect strike quality, and assess overall condition before assigning a grade. A rare 1974 error penny in mint state condition, especially one with a high grade like MS 65 or MS 66, becomes an elite collectible worthy of showcases, private collections, and high-profile auctions. Once graded and certified, the coin is encapsulated and becomes part of an official registry that tracks its history and sale. Over the years, several 1974 error pennies have made headlines at auctions, each fetching tens of thousands of dollars depending on its type and grade. The excitement these coins generate isn't limited to seasoned collectors. Stories abound of people who stumbled across one in a forgotten coin jar, a childhood collection, or inherited estate box. In one instance, a retired school teacher discovered a 1974 penny with unusual coloring and weight while helping her granddaughter sort coins for a school project. That coin later tested as a rare planchet error and was auctioned for a life-changing sum. And then there's the speculation. No one knows exactly how many 1974 error pennies escaped into the world. That uncertainty drives demand, keeps the search alive, and fuels the hope that more are still out there, waiting to be discovered. It's that possibility that ordinary Americans might unknowingly possess a fortune in their change drawer that keeps collectors sorting, weighing, and examining every 1974 penny they find. This isn't just about money. It's about history, rarity, and the idea that something so common can, through a twist of fate, become exceptional. It's about the narrative each coin carries, a story of decisions made in boardrooms, errors made on production floors, and discoveries made decades later. It's a story of persistence and curiosity, of people who look closer when others glance away. If you ever come across a 1974 penny, don't be so quick to pass it off as just another cent. Look closer. Feel its weight. Examine its color. Listen to the sound it makes when dropped. It might be ordinary, but then again, it might be something far more valuable. It might be one of the few error coins from that pivotal year. A coin with a story that connects policy, history, and accident in a way no machine could ever replicate. Because the truth is, a verified 1974 US 1-cent error penny, depending on the type of error, its condition, and its provenance, can be worth anywhere from $65,000 to $132,000 in today's collector market. That's not speculation. That's the price of history. Small, silent, and powerful enough to remind us all that even the most overlooked objects can carry unimaginable worth. In 1985, the United States stood on the threshold of a new era. Ronald Reagan was midway through his presidency, and the Cold War tensions still buzzed beneath the surface of everyday American life. Music, movies, and pop culture surged with the vibrancy of MTV, and technology hinted at the digital age soon to come. Amidst all this, the economy was a roller coaster of optimism and anxiety. And while people focused on politics, culture, and technological innovation, few paid attention to the change rattling in their pockets. Even fewer noticed that one small copper-colored coin, the humble 1-cent penny, was quietly making numismatic history in that very year. A penny that, through a rare error and a stroke of minting mystery, would later be worth a fortune. The 1985 US 1-cent penny looks, to the untrained eye, like any other from the era. On the front, it proudly displays the profile of President Abraham Lincoln, still sharp and dignified after decades of circulation. The familiar inscriptions frame his portrait. "In God we trust," arches above his head, "Liberty rests to the left," and the date, 1985, is etched to the right. Lincoln's iconic image, originally designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909, remains untouched, symbolizing a sense of continuity in a changing America. Flip the coin, and the reverse presents the stately Lincoln Memorial, its detailed columns and steps flanked by the inscriptions "United States of America, E Pluribus Unum," and 1 cent, a monument on metal, humble yet dignified. But this 1985 penny, though seemingly ordinary, hides extraordinary secrets that by the mid-1980s, the U.S. Mint had fully transitioned from solid copper to a new composition for the penny, a core of zinc with a thin copper coating. This shift, which began in 1982, was prompted by rising copper prices that made producing copper pennies cost prohibitive. The new copper-plated zinc planchets looked the same, but they were lighter, cheaper, and easier to produce in mass quantities. Billions were struck this way. Yet in the chaotic precision of mass minting, errors were inevitable. And it's in those errors that the true value of certain 1985 pennies was born. One of the most sought-after and mysterious 1985 penny errors involves coins that were mistakenly struck on copper planchets, leftover blanks from before the material transition, or foreign metal blanks accidentally fed into the presses. These coins, heavier than the standard 2.5 grams of the copper-coated zinc penny, tipped the scale closer to 3.1 grams, the telltale weight of the old bronze composition. That small difference transformed them into collectibles. Another variation emerged in the form of double die errors. These happened when the die used to strike the coin design was misaligned or used twice, causing doubled lettering or distorted facial features on Lincoln's portrait. Such coins immediately stood out to the sharp-eyed collector, but many went unnoticed for years, mistaken as common sense. Off-center strikes, die cracks, and broad-struck errors added even more flavor to the 1985 penny anomaly. These production flaws resulted in coins with bizarre shapes, missing inscriptions, or warped images, oddities that numismatists cherish. Some 1985 pennies even exhibited ghosting errors, where Lincoln's image appears faintly on the reverse side due to high-pressure strikes and metal flow inconsistencies. The rarest, though, are those 1985 cents that combine multiple errors: a wrong planchet, a double die, and an off-center strike, all in one coin. Such freak occurrences are the crown jewels of penny collectors. What makes these errors so captivating is not just their rarity, but the way they slipped through the rigorous quality control of the U.S. Mint. It's a reminder that even in a system designed for uniformity, anomalies persist. And sometimes, those anomalies are pure gold, figuratively speaking. Collectors began noticing these unusual 1985 pennies in circulation at coin shows and in inherited coin jars from relatives who had unknowingly held on to them for decades. Their discoveries were often accidental, but always electrifying. One young collector, only 13 at the time, discovered a 1985 penny in his grandfather's old tackle box. At first, he dismissed it, just another old coin. But after weighing it and inspecting it under a magnifying glass, he realized it didn't match the specs of other 1985 pennies. The weight was off, the surface seemed richer in tone, and subtle doubling was visible in the word Liberty. That coin, later certified and authenticated by a professional grading service, sold at auction for a life-altering sum. Certification plays a pivotal role in validating these rare error coins. Leading coin grading services like PCGS and NGC examine everything: weight, composition, strike quality, and overall condition. A verified 1985 penny error in mint state condition can be graded anywhere from MS 60 to MS 68. The higher the grade, the more pristine the coin, and the more valuable it becomes. With its luster intact and minimal marks, an MS 66 or higher example can command breathtaking prices, especially when paired with a unique error. The market for rare pennies is vibrant and passionate. Auctions feature fierce bidding wars for the most pristine or bizarrely flawed examples. Collectors from across the globe chase these coins, driven not just by the hope of profit, but by the thrill of owning a rare piece of American minting history. For many, the chase is as exciting as the coin itself. Dealers, hobbyists, and history buffs gather at conventions, share stories, and compare finds, each hoping to uncover the next treasure in a pile of pocket change. The beauty of a coin like the 1985 penny lies in its dual identity. To most, it's just a cent, but to those who know what to look for, it's a mystery, a challenge, and potentially a fortune. Every coin tells a story, not just of design and production, but of discovery, of someone who noticed what others overlooked, of a moment when history and chance collided in the smallest, most unassuming piece of metal. It's that narrative of ordinary becoming extraordinary that fuels the mystique of the 1985 1-cent penny. And it's what keeps people searching, sorting, and hoping. Because hidden among the billions of 1985 pennies are a select few that defy the norm. A few that shine a little brighter, weigh a little more, or show signs of a journey interrupted by a minting mistake. They are whispers from the past, relics of a process where even a fraction of a gram, a slight misalignment, or a planchet from another time can create numismatic magic. Well, the next time you come across a penny dated 1985, don't rush to drop it in the nearest coin jar. Hold it, examine it, weigh it if you can. Look for irregularities. Check for doubling, strange textures, or unexpected weight. What appears common might be anything, but what looks ordinary might be history hiding in plain sight. Because the truth is a rare 1985 US 1-cent penny error coin, depending on its specific characteristics, condition, and verification, can fetch anywhere from $55,000 to $123,000 in today's collector market. A fortune in a fragment, a legacy sealed in copper, a reminder that even the smallest coin can carry the greatest story. The year 2001 dawned with a sense of cautious optimism. The world was stepping into a new millennium, technology was rapidly evolving, and the future felt within reach. America, still adjusting to its changing role on the global stage, bustled with ambition and innovation. Amidst this high-paced change, one humble object quietly continued its journey through every cash register, pocket, and piggy bank in the country: the US 1-cent penny. Most passed it by without a second thought. After all, it was just a penny. But hidden among the billions minted that year, a rare few carried an invisible twist of fate that would one day capture the imagination of collectors and historians alike. At first glance, the 2001 US penny looks just like any other Lincoln cent. Its obverse features the solemn profile of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner and unchanged since 1909. The inscriptions "In God We Trust" hover above his head, "Liberty" rests to the left, and the date, 2001, stands neatly to the right. The reverse displays the Lincoln Memorial, with United States of America arching above and 1 cent grounded firmly below. From the outside, everything appears ordinary. But within the coin's composition, weight, and strike lies a secret few have discovered, an error so rare, it transforms a common coin into a national treasure. The BY 2001. The U.S. Mint had long since shifted the penny's composition from solid copper to copper-plated zinc. This change, made in 1982 due to rising copper costs, resulted in a penny made of 97.5% zinc with only a thin 2.5% layer of copper. In theory, this composition should have remained consistent. But as history has shown, even the most controlled processes are vulnerable to human error, leftover materials, or mechanical hiccups. In this case, those hiccups birthed the rare and valuable 2001 1-cent ErrorCoins. These rare 2001 pennies are known not for dramatic visible differences, but for their hidden traits that collectors spend years seeking. Some of the most valuable specimens from this year were struck on old copper planchets, those heavier bronze blanks that had been officially retired nearly 2 decades earlier. Others may have been mistakenly struck on foreign planchets intended for coins of different denominations or countries. And then there are examples with dramatic striking errors, off-center strikes, double dies, and improper metal bonding that offer unmistakable evidence of their anomaly. The beauty of these errors lies in their subtlety. A 2001 penny struck on a copper planchet feels just slightly heavier in hand, tipping the scale closer to 3.1 grams instead of the expected 2.5. The color may look richer, with a deeper red-brown hue rather than the bright copper shell most people recognize. Then there's the sound. When dropped, it rings with a slightly fuller tone than its zinc counterparts. These nuances, easy to overlook by the average person, are like a whisper to the trained ears of a numismatist. Stories abound of people discovering these treasures in the most unexpected places. A high school student in Ohio, sorting through coins for a school fundraiser, noticed one penny that felt heavier. On a whim, he looked it up and discovered it could be something special. He sent it to a grading service, and to his amazement, it came back certified as a rare copper planchet error. The coin sold for more than he'd ever imagined, covering his first year of college tuition. In another case, an elderly man in Utah, revisiting his childhood coin collection, found a 2001 penny that appeared slightly different. It was confirmed to be a misstrike, with an off-center design that made it incredibly rare. That penny later fetched thousands at auction. These stories are more than anecdotes. They're proof that rare pieces of history continue to live among us, often unnoticed. Each one of these error coins is a window into a moment when precision faltered and rarity was born. Whether due to leftover blanks, foreign metal stock, or equipment glitches, the 2001 error penny stands as a modern reminder that even in the digital age, analog mistakes can hold immense value. Authentication is the gateway to unlocking that value. Reputable grading services like NGC and PCGS examined these coins with scientific rigor. They measure weight, analyze metal content, inspect for strike abnormalities, and assess overall condition. A coin's grade, especially if it lands in the mint state range, can dramatically impact its final worth. AMS 66 or MS 67 grade transforms an already rare coin into a world-class collectible, the kind that turns heads in any auction house. The role of these grading institutions cannot be overstated. They don't just assign numbers. They provide credibility, provenance, and protection. A coin that has been authenticated and encapsulated becomes part of a verified history, a documented anomaly with the weight of authority behind it. When collectors bid on these items, they're not just paying for the metal. They're investing in a story, one that began in the chaos of the mint and ends in the vaults of elite collectors or museums. AS news spread about these rare 2001 penny errors. Demand exploded. What was once a curiosity became a mission for thousands of hobbyists. Coin rolls from banks were torn open, magnifiers were pulled out, and pocket change was given second and third glances. Collectors, both new and seasoned, combed through their collections hoping to find that one extraordinary piece. And for some, that hope paid off. Auctions across the country began to see spikes in penny values, especially for authenticated 2001 errors. Some sales broke records. Others surprised even the most seasoned dealers. The market for modern error coins has grown substantially, fueled by a younger generation of collectors drawn to the possibility of discovery and the thrill of hidden value. What makes the 2001 error penny particularly compelling is its modernity. Unlike coins from the 1800s or early 1900s, which are expected to be rare, a penny from 2001 is something people still remember spending, saving, or tossing aside without a second thought. The idea that such a recent coin could command such a high price defies conventional logic. And that's exactly why it draws so much attention, that there's something poetic about it too. In an age where technology drives precision and algorithms govern efficiency, the 2001 penny error is a reminder of the imperfections that still slip through. It speaks to the unpredictability of human systems and the beauty that can be born from a mistake. Every error coin tells a story of contrast. Mass production versus rarity, routine versus exception, overlooked versus extraordinary. Collectors don't just chase these coins for their financial value. They pursue them for what they represent. A rare 2001 penny is a tangible connection to a specific place, time, and event. It is history crystallized in metal. And the possibility that one of these rare coins might still be out there, quietly waiting to be discovered, keeps the search alive and thriving. The next time you find yourself with a loose change in your hand, take a closer look. That ordinary-looking 2001 penny might not be so ordinary after all. It might weigh just a little more. It might ring just a little clearer. It might carry the slightest irregularity that points to a rare minting error. And if it does, you could be holding something that transforms from 1 cent to a fortune. Because despite its face value, a 2001 US 1 cent error penny, if authenticated and in pristine condition, can now be worth between $40,000 and $105,000. That's the astonishing truth behind this small coin. A simple piece of currency that reminds us all of the extraordinary possibilities hiding in the everyday. In 2015, as technology surged ahead and the world grew more digitally connected than ever before, the simple copper-colored penny continued to pass from hand to hand, quietly enduring. Smartphones were in every pocket, self-driving cars were making headlines, and space exploration was once again capturing imaginations. Yet amidst all this modern progress, the smallest coin in American currency, the US 1 cent piece, remained unchanged in appearance, overlooked by many, often dismissed as insignificant. But as history has proven time and again, it's in the smallest, most ordinary things where extraordinary stories can unfold. And in 2015, a rare and subtle error in the production of this humble coin would give rise to one of the most intriguing numismatic discoveries of the decade. Most people, the 2015 US penny looks just like every other modern cent. On the obverse, Abraham Lincoln's enduring profile still faces right, his expression carved in solemn detail as it had been since Victor David Brenner's original design in 1909. The inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 2015 remain firmly in place, familiar to anyone who has ever held a penny. The reverse, redesigned in 2010 as part of the Union Shield Cent series, features a bold shield with a scroll across it bearing the words "E Pluribus Unum" and 13 vertical stripes representing the original states. The bold letters "United States of America" and 1 cent are stamped clearly into the copper-plated zinc surface. There's nothing about this design that suggests it could be worth more than a fraction of a dollar. And yet, some of these coins, struck in error or on rare planchets, have become small treasures in the eyes of collectors. By 2015, the penny's composition had been stable for decades, copper-plated zinc, weighing just 2.5 grams. The production process at the U.S. Mint had become one of the most streamlined and technologically advanced in the world. But even with modern machines and digital precision, mistakes can still slip through. Some 2015 pennies were accidentally struck on older copper alloy planchets, relics from earlier eras that somehow found their way back into the minting system. Others were misstruck, off-centered, or double-die errors that presented as subtle but highly sought-after variations. And a few were struck on planchets intended for foreign coins, resulting in unique weights, colors, and sounds that caught the attention of sharp-eyed collectors. These errors weren't dramatic at first glance. In fact, to the untrained eye, they looked like any other coin found in a handful of change. But those who knew what to look for, a slightly heavier weight, an unusual tint, or faint doubling in the lettering, understood that they had something special. A coin that feels slightly heavier than the usual 2.5 grams, tipping closer to 3.1, could indicate that it was struck on a leftover bronze planchet. A subtle shift in color or sheen might signal a non-standard metal composition, and a closer look under magnification might reveal a double-die error, with letters or features slightly overlapping or blurred. These clues, though minute, can add tremendous value to what appears to be a routine coin. Across the country, stories have emerged of lucky individuals stumbling upon these rare 2015 errors. A college student in Texas, rolling up coins for a trip, noticed one penny that felt a little heavier. Curious, he researched it online and took it to a coin dealer, who immediately recognized its potential. It was later certified as a rare planchet error worth tens of thousands. In another case, a hobbyist in Illinois who had been collecting coins since childhood found a 2015 penny with a dramatic off-center strike, leaving Lincoln's face partially missing and the date barely visible. That coin would eventually go to auction and spark a bidding war among elite collectors. Grading services like PCGS and NGC have played a vital role in confirming the authenticity of these remarkable errors. Every verified 2015 error penny undergoes rigorous analysis. Weight, diameter, metal composition, and strike clarity are all tested. Those that pass inspection and are given a high mint state grade can see their value soar. Coins graded at MS 65 or higher are considered highly desirable, and when the error is rare enough, even grades below that can still command substantial prices. These institutions provide not only authentication, but also peace of mind, assuring collectors that their investment is rooted in real, verifiable rarity. Now, what's fascinating about the 2015 penny is how recent it is. Unlike ancient coins or pieces from the 19th century, which carry their age as part of their mystique, the 2015 penny is something millions of Americans still carry around today. The idea that a modern coin, minted in a time of satellite GPS and smartphones, could be worth a small fortune is both thrilling and perplexing. It flips the narrative of value on its head, proving that rarity isn't always tied to age. It can just as easily come from oversight, accident, or a brief lapse in an otherwise flawless system. Auctions in recent years have confirmed that the demand for rare modern error coins is stronger than ever. One certified 2015 planchet error penny sold for a sum that stunned even seasoned numismatists. Another, with a bold double die on the obverse, drew attention for its sharp lines and unique strike. These aren't just coins, they're historical anomalies, products of precision gone slightly wrong, and their value only continues to rise as more collectors enter the field in search of the next big discovery. What adds even more excitement is the possibility that more of these rare 2015 pennies remain out there, unnoticed in drawers, jars, and rolls from the bank. For every collector who has struck gold, there are likely dozens who unknowingly passed over a small fortune, dismissing it as pocket change. This realization has sent collectors and amateurs alike back into their coin stashes, magnifying glasses in hand, hoping to spot one of these rare and valuable misprints. The hunt isn't just about the money. It's about the story, the discovery, the thrill of finding treasure where no one else thought to look. Every error coin tells a story of how it shouldn't exist, yet somehow does. A story of mechanical precision disrupted by human oversight, of a system so refined that its rare imperfections become the stuff of legend. And the 2015 penny is no different. Its errors are quiet rebellions against uniformity, and that's precisely what makes them so captivating. They're reminders that in a world obsessed with perfection, the occasional mistake can be worth far more than anything done by design. For those fortunate enough to find one, the next steps are clear. Don't clean the coin. Preserve it. Get it weighed, examined, and authenticated. Reach out to professional graders or trusted coin dealers. And above all, appreciate that you're holding a piece of modern history, one that slipped through the cracks of the minting process to become something truly remarkable. And now comes the reveal that has collectors everywhere buzzing. An authenticated 2015 US 1-cent penny error, depending on its type, condition, and rarity, can command a value of anywhere from $30,000 to $90,000 in today's market. That's the astonishing truth about a coin most would never glance at twice. A coin that, against all odds, rose from the routine to the remarkable, carrying with it a story that will be told for generations that, the next time you reach for your change, take a second look. That ordinary-looking 2015 penny just might be the rare error that turns your spare change into a life-changing discovery.